What's up? You may be one of the fastest growing cities in the United States right now. There's like 20 of them, all of them growing, building around you, and you're feeling left behind. Listen, grab the land grab course so you can start being in tune where properties are available, where tax deeds and tax liens are available in your city. Because listen, depending on where you are, Nashville, Memphis, Charlotte, North Carolina, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas, it doesn't matter. It's growing. If you're in Florida, you see the traffic, you see the people relocating, you see the folks getting out of New Jersey, moving down south. Don't miss out on the opportunities all around you in your hometown, in your city. Grab the land grab course, links below, find out more. You can watch the video for all the free information. It's your girl. Later.
What's good, everybody? Let me know if you can hear me and see me. I just dropped like 20 windows I had open to make this computer run a little faster. Anyways, you guys, talk to me. Drop your city and state in the chat, as you can see from the title. And this is conversation old as time. We didn't send you to go make friends. We didn't send you to party. We sent you to college to finish. All right. If you have any Black family members, first generational college people, I can tell you right now, my family is like, we just figured you're so smart, you didn't need our help, right? That's a very common conversation, unfortunately, that I've experienced and others have experienced. Sorry, we just got out of the shower. Hair's dripping. Also, on some of these emails with iCloud, you guys, some of y'all have iCloud emails, and I don't know what's the deal. It bounces back from our Gmail accounts, and it bounces back from our admin at Classy Climb. So just gonna say, if your name is Dean out there, D, we've tried to contact you multiple times. We have about 100 iCloud email issues, and every other video, I'm just gonna start saying people's name. Welcome. You became a YouTube member. Congratulations. Welcome to the show. Let's get into it. I didn't send you to college to party and make friends. Actually, you did. I'm kind of getting right to it. If you go on here, and I've been saying this for a while, we're going to use a couple different reports to show you. Black college enrollment dropped like 25% Black males, 25% not going. Now, you would say, well, Erica, so what? They're going to community college. They're going to trade schools. They're doing that. Actually, they are not. They are not. And I'm going to show you a series of things. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I think if we had, and I've said this multiple times on the channel, if we had 1 to 2 million Black men go get blue collar trades, would require them to still do math, reading, signing up for stuff, very hard to find apprenticeships, we would solve a lot of our community's problems. But again, nobody does anything they don't want to do, right? The bottlenecks in nursing for Black women. Right now, most nursing schools have thousands of people waiting year after year to fit in. And people say, well, just have good grades. And that's just not true, because I experienced when I was at ECU, there was 400 Black women who had been waiting because they only saved 25 slots for Black candidates. But then it became anybody who's a minority. So out of 125 nurses every semester, they saved 25. So you had Asians, Latinos, Blacks, and Indians all fight for 25 spots. It became so blatantly obvious. There were like multiple years where there was only 70 white girls, and they just filled in the other spots with minorities who had been on blacklists for years, waiting to wait on the wait list to be able to go into nursing school. So we have bottlenecks in the professional trades. We have bottlenecks in the blue collar trades. But you can't even fight if you ain't even there. All right. So the college degree gap between Black and white Americans was always bad. It's getting worse. I think till about 1965, I'd say 1975, I'm going to blame mostly the Vietnam War and some of the social services their country was offering. We've had Black men who've been able to fix things, so they haven't needed college degrees in mass, right? We've always had our doctors. We always had our lawyers. I'm not going to go on the talented 10th. I know that bothers people, but that's most societies. We have a 10th that's doing something in that lane, right? So let's keep it moving. So all of a sudden, these articles are kind of like, what happened? Why didn't you go to school? Oh, it's just the way society is. Again, you can read article after article talking about certain families. 45% of Black children go to high poverty primary and secondary schools, compared with 8% of white students. This is an issue. You can't have, If you want after school tutoring, after school needs, you pretty much are going to have to pay out of pocket. It's been that way for a while. Most schools don't even have the resources to do so unless you live in that type of neighborhood, right? Black high school students who didn't go to college or dropped out are more likely to say they want to go or go back than similar to white students, 50% to 42%. Okay. Yet 67% of white high school students went directly to college in 2020. The most recent year the figure was available. 54% of black high school graduates did the National Center. That's down from 66% in 2010. Again, of those who go to college, only 7% of black students ended up at a selective university compared to 19% of white students. Where's the other part? The study followed 23,000 students followed beginning in 2009 when they were in 9th grade. Again, y'all, they be studying these children, and I be wanting to know who parents be signing up for these studies because they getting a little money. All right. They say black students who make it to graduation end up owing 50% more in student loans than white graduates. They even showed after 12 years, black graduates had 120% still owed on their debt. It's getting crazy, but let's get out of this one. Let me go on to the next. This is a report from Higher Education Today. Came out February 16, 2023. New reports highlight black students' experiences and challenges in completing a college degree or certificate. So again, I'm going to say this, and you guys may not like this. I worked in financial aid. I have several family members who are in the North Carolina school college system. And a lot of times it's lack of don't know and lack of grit, right? People will come to one of my aunt's offices. Oh my God, I can't afford this. Well, did you look at this? Did you look at that? Did you look at this? No, I never heard of those. If you're in a dire survival mode position, only thing you should be Googling on your phone is grants, scholarships, and resources to come here. If you want to go to that particular college or community college, you should be spending your day in the financial office looking at the index. We would offer students opportunities to go back and look at the index and then come back in the office, and they would refuse. They're going, no, I just want to take the loans. So I remember being there talking with people when the average people's student loan debt was 20, 30K in North Carolina, right? So a lot of times people aren't inquisitive. They don't have grit. This goes for white and black. This is why you'll see many white people say, oh, I couldn't go to college because my parents wasn't going to pay for it. And it's like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, you could pay for it. You just didn't want to pay for it creatively. If it wasn't going to be handed to you, you weren't going to do it. Let me go over here. All right. Black students enrolled in certificate and certifications programs more often experience some form of discrimination, 32%, than students enrolled in associate degree, 16%, or bachelorate programs. Similarly, black students are more likely to express discrimination at for-profit institutions compared to nonprofit. Now, here's the truth of all this stuff. Anytime you're doing anything, you're going to face pushback. If you're really trying to go get a degree, if you're really trying to go be in a medical program, you're going to push back. I had a friend, he's African, first generation, lived in a small town that took them in down from Fort Worth, and literally went to UCLA and was only one black person. It was 2 white dudes, and the rest of the entire almost 100 and some change people in their medical class were all some type of Asian, Indian, you name it, foreigner person. But he was the only black. And he even felt bad because the department was like talking to him, and they're like, oh, because you were I hate to say refugee relocation, you can blank. So he was able to get a $1.5 million in scholarships. He just kept applying to everything at UCLA. And that surplus money, they have to give it to you, allowed to him being the wealthy guy we know to this day. And he is still a doctor. He didn't want to finish, but eventually he did just kind of push through, finished, and bought a rental in San Francisco, bought a rental in Texas, paid for stuff, bought cars for his sisters. But he has his head screwed on tighter than most because his dad got deported. The mom and all the sisters stayed. Okay. And so this is one of the issues, is a lot of it's grit. I'm just gonna be honest. Because you're gonna face discrimination no matter where you go. All right, like there's no magical world where you can walk off and you know what I'm saying? That's not gonna happen. Relax. I apply for everything. The folks didn't tell me. Again, go to your financial aid office and look in the invoice, the index at every college. I've talked about this for years. Every college has it. We have hundreds of scholarships that people made for their grandma. Sending $1,000 every year for their grandma scholarship, and nobody applies, and you can see little families be sad about it. So anyway, this right here is another study right here. This one right here is Black students in higher education census. This is according to the Census American Community Survey in 2022. 12% of the total U.S. population identified as Black. Again, it's 15%, and it's 51 million, but we're going to let it rock for this. Among Black residents 25 and older, 25% had earned a bachelor's degree. This rate is up from 18% in 2012, but it falls short of the national rate of 35%. Now, you may say, Erica, why are we doing a show talking about this? Why are we going over this? What does this matter? And the reason it matters is a lot of Black parents still are telling kids, and I just experienced it the other day. Somebody said, well, I'm sending them to study, not to make friends. And I go, that's the whole point. The whole Black fraternity, the Alpha Phi Alpha at East Carolina, every one of them went to work for banks at Wachovia, Bank of America, and this other bank that SunTrust is no longer around. And everybody was like, how did they all get these jobs at the banks? And it's because their fraternity brothers led the way, right? One of the Black football players I think he was a wide receiver. I might be saying it wrong. He ended up being in our business department and ended up connecting with some of these fraternity members and ended up going to Wall Street on an internship, right? And so a lot of times you say, well, I'm not sending you there to party. And I was reassuring this person is we have a cousin that just went to school, and because of the lack of Black men, because of the lack of participation, he literally just signed up for a bunch of stuff, joined a fraternity, and he's like class ambassador. I'll just say it that way. I don't want to disclose his location or where he's at, but he's class ambassador. He's traveling with the school. He's in photos. He's in pictures. Like they're begging the kids, like just participate, just do things. And part of maybe what bring this up is Aaron Clary did a video saying, you're not going to get laid at college. And no, if you don't shower, you don't bathe, you just play video games and goof off and go to class and smell musty like the Indian kids, you're not going to get laid. That's not what school is there for, right? It's a subconscious, unsubconscious thing people are going there for that and to party. But you're not going to get that unless you are involved in organizations. Being involved in organizations leads you to parties. Being in the atmosphere of so many young people. This is why I understand when people say, well, if you're a girl and you couldn't find somebody at college, woo, girl, this is the last time they're going to be just everywhere, like shooting fish in a barrel. And even I went to East Carolina where we had 8 women to 1 man. The next semester it flipped because the Playboy listed us as a top party school with 8 women to 1 man. You went to class. First year I went to school, I was like, yeah, it's a lot of girls here. Cool, no problem. Cool. Hey, girls, girl time, whatever. And then all of a sudden, the next semester, it was just sausage fest everywhere. Everywhere you went, every bar, every event, every football game, you're like, what is going on? And so these things are cyclical. So even if Black people don't attend school, hold on a second. Why are you hollering and right beside me? Well, I tell you, Black people. Anyway, so so what ends up happening is they're circling around the area. Like we had $300 a month apartments, these raggedy, terrible, rundown, probably lead infested apartments that people were renting near East Carolina. And it was just full of guys who were just working a part-time job and could afford it. And you were just like, ugh, but they would always have the best house parties. So I ain't gonna front on you like that. Right. Exactly. Rich folks are going to college to meet their mate and network for opportunities. Yeah. And Black people are telling you, stick your head down. Don't come back pregnant. Be smart. Just study. And that's just not, that's just not, it's a finishing school for a reason. And this is why class matters. And this is why we have such class disparity. I wrote all these notes and I just want to tell you, one of the biggest reasons is the hollowing out of the middle class. It's hard to pair with people when you're hollowing out the middle class. What is hollowing out the middle class? For me, when I sit here and tell y'all, there's a difference between a $60K parent and a $200,000 a year parent, but they're both considered middle class. When you're going to school with people who parents own law practices and insurance offices, and then, you're like, oh yeah, my family owns a bunch of farms and military people. What? It's a life crash. It's systems within systems, it's classes within classes, right? And so you're coming to school. Let's say you're a young black man and you got a mom making $60K a year. You're trying to date a girl who, and she could be white, she could be Asian. I'm just gonna go there. She could be whatever. Her parents are making $200K a year. Them together, y'all already uncompatible because this young man's already still thinking about how can he go back and take care of that mom. How can he help her so that this isn't such a struggle for her? We can go there. If she ain't got no husband, he's worried about her. That just is a natural inclination of young children when the mother is not covered. Okay. So you always have these disparities. I remember meeting one of the black girls that was in my quad, and she married this guy. He was from the hood, country Negro hood, right? And they ended up divorcing after 3 years. She ended up remarrying somebody in corporate America, a white dude. He ended up marrying a white girl that was kind of like trailer trash. And they actually both look really happy. Like when I was like messaging them on Facebook, I kind of laughed because they both look very happy in their secondary choices of life. Just because you're in the same space doesn't mean you guys are the same classes, right? And this is very important. And I'm glad both of them were able to remarry, right? But that's just if you're in those environments, okay? So again, I'm going to say this again, and I don't want this to be offensive, but it is. If you have a $60K parent and I have a $200,000 K parent, we are similar because we'll maybe have the same middle class stories of certain schools, certain environments, but we aren't the same. There's a little more runway for that other parent to provide cars. I went to college with somebody, they finished graduating, they got a brand new Jeep Cherokee. They didn't have to pay $1 on it. And it was a $30,000 back then. It was like the Sahara with the peanut butter insides, white on the outside. It was the complete package, right? And I remember thinking, your parents are setting you up with this free car. What? I'm sitting here driving my little Mitsubishi Lancer, right? Right. But our family owned a car dealership, so I can't really, complain on that. But you're interacting with people who parents are, yes, supporting their way. There are several New Yorker influencer channels who are saying the same thing. Like, don't be upset. You're in New York and can't afford things. Like, everybody's parents are helping them. But your mama making 60 can't help you. Your daddy making 100 plus can. This is why when I talk to people and their parents are in their 50s and they've never, like, they were a CNA their whole life, or they never moved up, or they never made more money because they were doing all right. I'm like, your parent was never thinking about you. Like, they did enough to I got you through school. I fed you. Now get on out of here, right? Because that's just the mind of, if you have kids, is I'm gonna need some more just in case something happens. We know a family right now where the daughter just had a brain aneurysm on a vacation in Florida. Now the grandparents are taking care of the kids. They never thought they were going to have to work longer. They never thought they needed more money for retirement. They just assumed this daughter with these kids, they would go down to Florida and live near her so they could be in their retirement mode. And now they're raising kids again. So again, this whole Erica money doesn't matter, these degrees don't matter is false. The majority of my phone calls are men who are in warehouse jobs trying to figure out how to either go into tech. Can you connect me with Sub-Zero, Dr. Diggs, whoever, or they're trying to figure out how to go. Hold on a second. People acting snowed in, so they acting crazy. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I know y'all be like, what is be going on over there? Too much. Too many people, too much visiting. Okay, let's get to it. So all that to say, to act like money's a back burner and going to college doesn't matter when you see colleges full with 40, 50-year-old women trying to get some degree of significance is a lie. And so I just want people to stop that lie. Let me finish this. Okay. Undergraduate enrollment, this is important anyway, declined from 2.68 million to 1.94 million. That's a 27% decrease. Despite overall enrollment decline, the graduate enrollment for Black students has increased by 6%, 382,000. Good job, y'all. Black enrollment has declined from 3.4 million to 2.33 million, a 23% decline. 76% of fall 2021 enrollment of historical Black colleges and universities were Black students, okay? 42% of Black students attend public 4-year universities, 26% of public 2-year universities, which is junior college for those who, whatever. Again, financial aid, we can go down this road. 60% of Black students receive Pell Grant compared to 40% of all students. 48% of Black students receive federal student loan compared to 35% of all students. Among Black students who received Title IX aid, the average amount was $9,642. Okay. Or average Pell Grant amount for Black students was $4,172. The average federal loan amount for Black students was $8,641. Okay. Let's go one more time again. 45% of first-time, full-time Black students attending university beginning in 2014 graduated within 6 years. That's where that stat comes from that Black people keep quoting. Y'all not even going to graduate compared to 64% of students. At two-year institutions, among first-time, full-time students beginning 2018, 27% of Black students graduated within 3 years compared to 35% overall. Now, at the 2-year junior college, or we can call it community college, the folks is graduating in 3 years. That's why whenever I meet some Black guy or girl and they're working somewhere and I'm like, hey, babe, what you doing? I'm going to school. And they look 37. I don't even question it. All right. I know it, brother. I hear you. Keep going till you go. David Williams even said it took him 6 years. I don't care. Go until you finish. And it's not because, the numbers and the data, it's for you. Why the heck you gonna leave and you got 50,000 still sitting on the table that you owe? That ain't never made no sense to me. I'm gonna keep going till it's done, till we wrap it up. But people be changing majors and doing goofy stuff. You know what I'm saying? How many of y'all changed y'all major when y'all was in school? Y'all can let me know in the chat. It's okay. Now, why does it matter? Black graduates who report having an average income of $59,000, y'all, compared to the national average of $76,000. Why does that matter? You going to work, and I give Tone Talks this. You going to work with $100,000 on your back. You better be going to a job paying $100,000, right? Because you need to be able to get over the hump. Most people talk about paying off their student loans in the first 2 years. I'm gonna stay at my mom and dad's. I'm gonna do this. And I tell people, don't. Why are you going to your mom and dad house? You're gonna take a lower paying job because it's your hometown, right? And most people gonna say, well, because I can't afford to live in this other city. Anytime I saw an Indian girl whose parents lived in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. She had a chemistry degree and some other medical degree, and she moved back to Nebraska, and they were like, I can't find a job. Baby, you're a chemical engineer. What are you doing? Like, ain't no chemical engineers in Nebraska in that particular part. You need to go be in a city. Yes, your Indian would have died. If your parents are that worried about you, they should have married you off in college, right? But you need to go where you can actually use that. You got to go somewhere where you can use that. So it be simple stuff like that. Y'all don't, but that's a big difference, right? Wealth accumulation can be measured differently from income. 10 years after graduating, let's go there. 47% of Black students reportedly owning a home. Come on, y'all, look, come on. Yay. I'm clapping. 47% of Black people that graduate from college, 10 years later, they own a home. And then if you compare it to all other graduates, 63%. So, 80% of Black graduates have some form of retirement account compared to 87% of all graduates. So that's good. It's the home ownership part. That's the most important that y'all not hearing that part though. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not hearing that part. That's important. Okay. Black students are less likely enrolled in AP classes or college prep in high school. Black students are less likely to have family members that attended college. In 2021, 20% of Black children under 18 lived in a household with a parent who completed a bachelor's degree compared to 46% of white kids. Black graduates of HBCUs reported greater well-being, sense of purpose, and they felt supported while enrolled. Institutional context and sense of belonging play a role. This is why I keep telling y'all, like, if you send your kids to school and they don't like nobody, they can't get along, they ain't joining no fraternity, they just sit in their room every day, they not gonna make it. It's a hard, long 4 years of them being miserable. They're not gonna make it. They're not gonna make it. The whole point of the thing is to go there and interact with people. Erica, where you get these data from? Where you get this data from? Again, let's go here again. American Community Service, Current Population Survey, Beyond Survey, Digest of Educational Statistics, National Post-Secondary Student Aid Survey, Office of Civil Rights, Education Trust, Gallup. Listen, you can get paid to put these polls together, y'all. But that's where they're coming from. Where are you getting this data? Right there. right there. I don't know about that, Erica. Cool, no problem. Don't know about it then. Keep it pushing. All right. Will they let me get off of here? Get out of here. I don't want to sign up for none of that. It's tripping. Hold on, let me see. Let me see it. Black male college enrollment is falling. Here's why it matters. Fewer black men earning college dream means lower wages, less social mobility, and weaker leadership position pipeline. Now you can listen to the audio version of most of these articles, but again, like I told you, they study folks. These people be studying the longevity of Hispanic Americans in Texas. They studied like 150,000 Hispanic kids to see, okay, what they're going to do, where they're going to go. And guess what them kids did? A bunch of nothing. Nah, I'm just messing. Those kids did 95% exactly what their parents did. So if their mom was in cleaning, they was cleaning. If their dad's in construction, they in construction. That other 5% fills up for all the data of Latinos in Texas going to college, medical school, lawyers, you name it, right? Like there's two Hispanic dudes in medical school, and they go the fools or something like that. Foes, it's however they say it in Cali, and I just laugh because I'm just like, they on an uphill battle too. They're on an uphill battle too, but that's not the focus of today's convo. Okay, so now if you go here, National Library of Medicine. The impact of racial identity and school composition on affirmative action students. They keep studying this, y'all. The children like themselves better and finish when they go to HBCU. Now, many of you know a cousin that went to HBCU and did the most, but they had every homecoming. They had every event. You had a couple black coaches go, I love that y'all coming to the events. But y'all not even buying tickets. Y'all just hanging out in the parking lot. That's a problem. Schools can't be supported off you wearing the gear. I'm wearing the gear. I remember I challenged Asia one time. I said, well, do you buy the bricks on the ground? I bought a brick at Jackson State University. I need to go down there and see it. Oh, yeah, I support and donate all the time. Cool, no problem. I'm not knocking you if you don't. I'm just saying that's something I did because I want to be able to, when, Deion Sanders was there, support. It's very strategic, Deion Sanders going to these places. A rising tide rises all ships. I wish they could put 27 former football players, NFL players at these historically black colleges, because that is what attracts y'all and gets y'all to go. Like, not even being funny. It's very pop culture-ish. Okay. I'm gonna read some of y'all stuff. I didn't mean to ignore it. There's one thing I can say about sororities and fraternities. If you play your card right, the connections can take you places. I remember going over to a man's house and he had a stack of magazines. And I was just being nosy, like, what these magazines are. It was from his fraternity. In the book, it highlighted people's careers. Like you standing there with your picture. You're standing there with a football. You're standing there looking crazy. And it was just naming companies that were hiring, letting you know to put your social club on your resume, reach out to this person in recruiting and all this other stuff. The sororities and fraternities take care of each other. Right? That's all. They take care of each other. And that's why I say when we left, I was like, all these black guys work in banking, but it was because of one connection. So my classmate was a VP recruiter at a staffing agency. Every 18 months to 2 years, I promote myself to another company through him for 11 years. It's always connections. Most non-black ethnicities meet their spouse in freshman year and marry them by senior year. That's 4 years invested into somebody. Hey, I'm gonna step out of that. Yeah, we're trying to educate the masses. People don't know what they want. They just want to enroll in school. Yeah, it's very much heavily pushed. And honestly, no disrespect, but I don't mind the Latino kids copying what their parents did. They already know what to do. They just gonna follow the blueprint and keep it pushing. Continue from where they are. I started out in marketing for my major, then I switched to IT in my sophomore year. Congratulations. Okay, let me keep it moving. Let me read this. Okay, let's go there. Okay, a black college. John's upstairs. A black college enrollment lag suggests strengthening communities. Now, this came out in May 2024. What are we doing? Black students are graduating from high school, but fewer are attending college. This is according to the Scotch Foundation for Public Education. A study released Tuesday by the organization's examined 15 districts throughout the country that collectively educate more than 250,000 Black male students. Why are they so concerned? Come on, you guys, pay attention. Hope you're getting that. 250,000 Black male students, 2 of which are in California, the Los Angeles Unified School District, the largest school district in the state, where 7% of the students are Black, and the Oakland Unified School District, where has an enrollment of 45,000, 21% of those students being Black. With a 71% graduation rate, Black males at Oakland Unified were among the 5 lowest in the country, hovering above, sadly, Detroit, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Minneapolis. At 75%, Los Angeles Unified wasn't much higher. It's clear there's something has happened across Florida, John Jackson says. If you take LA Unified and Oakland Unified as 2 of the largest districts in the state, the 2 districts that have the largest Black male population, something has to happen. See, y'all want to be in LA, okay? Y'all want to be in Oakland, okay? But we're going to leave that alone. We're going to step out of there. Only 3 states had graduation rates were higher than the national average. Alabama, 88%. Again, the rate for all Black students remained below national average. That's 81%, along with Latino and Native American students. Delaware, 87%. Florida, 87%. On the other hand, Wyoming, let's really talk about it. Wyoming, 66% of them people only graduate in high school. Minnesota, 69%. And Idaho, 69%, had the lowest rates. Now, what does that mean? Come on, man. Alabama, you're going to go to school and you're going to finish. Delaware and Florida, you're going to go and you're going to finish. Okay? And California Black students sustained a graduation of 76%. Okay? Graduating from high school, according to the report, is also connected to lower likelihood of becoming homeless or incarcerated. Specifically, the notes report that a young person who is not graduating from high school is 350% more likely to experience homelessness and 63% more likely to face incarceration. Now, I ain't trying to be funny, but you know they got that No Child Left Behind. How is y'all not graduating? Come on now. Come on now. If there's no child left behind and we aren't failing kids, how is the graduation rate not higher? That's all. I'm just gonna put that out there. I did engineering as my first major. Woo, God bless you. Then I ran into calculus and physics, decided that I wasn't about that life, and switched to accounting and never looked back. And that's the crazy part, because a lot of those degrees, they make you use all this stuff that you ain't gonna use later. They just want to make you got to show that you can do it. Donald said, do they want us continually erode to keep us in debt or something? I'm lost. Donald, essentially they're tracking right now. The United States, 20% of all white people are 65 years old or older. They're tracking who will be the replacement minority. They're thinking Asians, they're thinking Latinos, they're thinking Black. The last course of recon is Black. And what's they're coming out is some of these Black males aren't going to school, they ain't going to college, they're not working. I guess they just at grandma's house. I don't know. They doing Uber sometimes, but not a lot. This is the point of this, because in order to how is our society rolling? Because a lot of Black people are like, yeah, I'm glad I don't got no college loan debt. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, what did you do with your time? I keep meeting people in their 30s just doing entry level. Like, I'm going to just go there real second. You're in a class incompatibility. That's what's going on massively. So 18 and 25, you have a lot of people who are focusing on sports in our community. They try to do some job around sports. They try to work in sports. They try to do all this stuff in sports. Okay. And realize by 25, like, they ain't gonna pay me more than 35,000, because there's millions of men lined up to take 35,000 to do stuff in sports. How do I know? I have 2 friends who work to be personal trainers within sports organizations. Also, they were executive producers over at the Longhorn Network. And they just said it just was horrible pay in all these spaces, because so many people lined up, millions of applications. Okay. So now they switched 25 to 35 to growth, which is good. That's what you should be doing. But we're meeting a lot of people who are getting right at 30 and going, yeah, let me go get an entry-level job somewhere. Let me start getting into the career. So now you got 5 years of that. Okay. 5 years of that. Now you're talking about, okay, this man, does he have children? Is he married? Does he have kids? This stuff matters. All right. That's all it is. This stuff matters. And they're just coming to it later. Why does this matter? Again, at college, you have college prep days, you have frats, sororities, you have local jobs, you have scholarships. You have ways to kind of pull you into that college and that college environment to help you push it along. Because it is all social networking. It's social networking. That's what it is. Okay. So again, this guy was telling his sister, like, where do I meet wealthy men? She's like, first of all, you're only 22. But secondly, it would be golf, because people are trying to learn golf for their new jobs. They're trying to learn golf to go connect with their boss. They're trying to learn golf because they're on a career that needs golf. It's kind of the cost of golf and certain things knock out a lot of people. All right. So again, if they're not going to trade school, they're not going to college, numbers are lower. They're not doing the military. Those numbers are very apparent. It's only people in late 30s now doing military. High enrollments in those ages. One of the areas that I think are solutions is sales, business owner, 1099 options, and boot camps. These tech boot camps that are 20K and people are like, I would never pay this. You need to. You're not getting in there no other way. You need to, right? Or some people oh my God, that's kind of strong. Some people need these boot camps. They need these networking things. They need these recruiters working on their behalf to help them. So thank you, Talo, for the Gifted one for the Smart Money Money Mentorship. Thank you so much. Hold on one second here. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. Hold on, you. Listen, I don't know about you, but I started a business so I could do this. Travel, be with friends, be with family, create memories. I didn't do it to sit at the computer all day. I didn't do it so that I could just be in countless emails and Zoom meetings. I did it to create opportunities for myself and opportunities for others. So listen, if that's something that interests you, enjoying time with your friends, being out and about, definitely drop by Erica Williams' Classy Climb blog. Check out the YouTube channel. We've got over 2,000 videos of free information that's actually changed people's lives. People actually post their new jobs, their new careers, their new businesses all the time over at the channel. Can you hear me? Sorry about that, you guys. Commercial break. Okay. Let me see. Can y'all hear me? You should be able to. Nope, 10K isn't even big student loan debt. The majors is what applies to you, what you can finish. I'm definitely going to tell y'all what majors to do. You have to do self-assessment and what majors apply to you. Young people are finding out their parents' factory job isn't enough. Rent, car payment, living doesn't match their parents' lifestyle. Yes, some of that's inflation, and a lot of that is people don't got no skills. Like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm totally fine. I have a family member that visited, and they're in a wheelchair, so I just had to help. I had to help get them in the door. I'm cool. I'm good. Okay. Now you can say, why does this matter? Again, this is Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is the usual weekly earnings right here. We have women to men, and then we have among the major race ethnic groups, right? Hispanic are making $951 a week. Black are making $986, which is lower than, of course, white men at $1,231, which is lower than Asian, which is $1,500. The Asians ain't playing. By sex, median weekly earnings, the average Black men were earning about $1,039 a week, right? Compared to Black women who are earning $942, compared to Hispanic women who are making $889. And again, Asian women always make more than everybody, 1,300. Okay. Now, again, you're going to say, well, why does that matter, Erica? So what? So what? You're bringing these people up. It's because I keep telling people pretty much like Samuel, I'm not trying to be funny, but if you're 18 to 25, trades, military, buy a house, land, these young people you run into in these events, they're flipping, they're building all this stuff. It comes from that. Comes from that mostly. Again, we can go up here. This is blackdemographics.com. It's like, what are these people doing? Healthcare support, food preparation and serving related, building and grounds cleaning maintenance, personal care and services. Right there, healthcare support, 1 million women, Black women are in healthcare support, only 188,000 Black men. So again, even in your local hospitals, the people you see, orderlies, different things like that. Again, this talks about management, business, financial operations, computer engineering, right? Legal, right? Educational, a librarian, all this stuff is important, right? And so people say, well, I need to see the numbers. These are the numbers. These are the numbers right here. 16% in the whole United States are not in the labor force, but for Black men, it's 25%. 5% is unemployed. This means they're actively seeking. 1% military. Again, same with women. All women is working. 72% of the women is working. 5% of Black women is unemployed, and 23% are not in the labor force, and that 1%, less than 1%, is in the military. Okay? All these things matter. Why do they matter? They matter because if you're trying to speak with young people about money, about what they need to do, how they can change their life, how they can get more and get better, it has to connect with reality. Right? There's a reason all these kids are like, how can I do online stuff? How can I do something else? I don't want to do that, Erica. I don't want to work like my parents, right? Electrical trades, man, for sure. Asian folk. But it's the career. It's accounting, it's the degrees, it's certifications, it's software engineering, it's tech. It's all that stuff that people like, oh, that's boring or that's not interesting. You cannot go find your fun at your job, y'all. I keep telling y'all, like, find your fun in your life, not at your job. Erica, I have to be there 40 years. You don't understand. Everybody ain't gonna do entrepreneurship. The only people that are able to invest and buy beach rentals and all this other stuff is the people who are making the high income. Don't fight me. That's just the data. What are the young people in your life gonna be doing? If they only going to class Tuesday, Thursday at the community JUCO college, what they doing for the rest of the week? It can't be hang out and party every day, right? We have to have some real conversation with these people because they're going to get stuck in kind of the cheap rentals, the government auctions, the tax deeds where I can get it for $500. You're never able to even access the banks at the level you want to because you don't fit the criteria. Like I'm telling you, there's many people I know right now, 2 business professionals, they had to change their NACA codes. They're in trucking. Y'all know the issues is high risk, but they also own a bunch of equipment assets. So they just put a lawn care business on paper, moved assets over to that. And the bank is like, oh yeah, here you go. Here's millions of dollars. It was insane and much. And again, they come from a farm family, so they have a lot of equipment. But what you're interacting with in society is all the crying about the rent too high and people having to be 4 or 5 people deep in an apartment and people renting rooms and house hacking conversations come from 2 places. They're not married and they don't make enough income. So they got to figure out how to house hack their house. They got to rent it out to roommates, right? And they're like, well, Black people don't like that. That's not true. I know too many Black people with roommates to act like that's remotely true at all. No, too many. Let me see if I can share this right here. Can I share this? All right. So this just to show you Ryan Pieta members is just an example. In industries representative, finance, tax, insurance, wealth management, 27%. Real estate, flipping, brokers, development, 23%. Blue collar construction, home services, trades, 22%. Tech, AI, SaaS, 15%. Healthcare, doctors, med spa, telehealth, 6%. Other, media, fitness, education, travel, 7%. This is why I'm not against franchises. I'm not against people trying to figure out how to buy into somebody's practice, people trying to buy a business, because this is where you're going to end up. You're going to have a lot of people who they need to go over into one of these. It's what's growing. It's what's making money. It's what that young man or young lady can do. Right? People want to be social at work. I get it. You cannot be social unless you are useful to the system. Just like if you're going to college, think you're just going to get laid with girls because there's just girls all over. Useful to the system. You got to be useful to the system. No one's bigger than the program, Otis. Ain't nobody here to see you. Right? Accounting's boring as F. The pay is steady. The recruiters hit me up weekly. Hit me up, LinkedIn DMs weekly at least. I'm blessed. Congratulations. In Michigan, it's folks that can no longer afford to live on their own and very against shared living. It's wow, actually. Yeah, it's always those folks. Because you have to learn how to be a common, decent human being and also respect other people's spaces. There's something about being broke and being very proud. It's weird times we're in. There's an increase of men over 30 rooming up, same as women. Just here in Jackson alone, pad spit living is here to stay. So I think 1 in 3 men from 19 to 34 years old is the stat that live at home with their parents. It's 1 in 5 for women. People, if all families raise their sons like they raise their daughters, man, we'd have a society of kill us. Because we expect that daughter to get out of our face and do you know how to cook and do you know how to wash clothes and do you know them sons don't be knowing. And I blame them. I blame the families. Because my nephew is 10 and he may not work the wash machine all the way yet, but he's like, okay, I brought the clothes down. Well, I don't know which button to push. You know what I'm saying? And you're talking to people who are 18 talking about they don't know what button to push. That's crazy. That's insane to me. That's insane on new levels. So our goal with any of this, with YouTube, with any of this is to try to figure out how can we encourage young people to find a way to get some money in their pocket. That's ultimately what this is. That's ultimately what this channel is. That's ultimately like things I've tried, that side hustles and working at things. Like there was a YouTuber that was on here fussing with people about women's, and he was a Uber driver. He had Uber drive in Atlanta for 3 years. Then he moved to Seattle, Washington, Uber drive for a year out there and was like, oh, it's expensive. I got to go back. You didn't do the cost analysis. You didn't figure out the Uber in Seattle it's not enough. You did not do the math on it. And what happens is people move because they like some girl or they like somebody. And then he was back fussing on YouTube in a group. And he was back in Atlanta. And they were like, bro, you've been doing Uber for 7-8 years now. That's your real career. It's not YouTube because you don't have a main channel. It's not this. It's you being an Uber driver and coming on here fussing. That's your main focus. I remember Kevin Samuels had a guy that was coming on there talking about women, his enemy. And they're like, what's your enemy? I'm a musician and an Uber driver. Sir, your enemy is your pocketbook. There are several men on here on these apps that say, man, once you make some money, it's dating is fun. But what he means is once you reach the mindset where it's like, oh, let me hold this money. Oh God, that scarcity mindset, you'll never have fun. You'll never have fun. If it's based off, somebody better come with some money and help me with it. Like you're never going to have fun. You're never going to have fun dating. You're never going to have fun getting to know people because every dollar counts. You don't even need to be out there. You don't. Come on, man. Tell them. Daughters will leave and not move back home. Ex-cons don't visit the prison. The rules at my parents' house. Woo, child. Education was the get out of jail card. I'm just telling you, they do. The way people raise these daughters. And I think it's because they know subconsciously with their son, somebody gonna come along and pick up the slack. Like as long as he work and he don't treat nobody bad and he ain't hit nobody in the head, we cool. We cool. I saw this black father. I felt so bad for him. As a video in court, and the father was late, and he didn't know what the charge was, so they was gonna reread the charges. Which I was like, that's nice of the judge, but she ain't playing. She was like, this man done kidnapped, raped somebody and assaulted him, and then the daddy just like, oh, He like falling out. He having convulsions. He's like, what? Because he got his work clothes still on. So this whole, like, if their daddy's in their life, this man daddy done ran from his job and came down to court at his son's arraignment, and this son up there done grabbed a stranger off the street and assaulted her. It ain't always is the dad there. It's like, what is the program for the family? What program is the family on? Because, son, you going to jail for 25 years. Your daddy gonna be gone. He was an older looking black man too, big and healthy, but he ain't gonna live another 25, maybe not. And so I just want y'all to understand, like, my biggest takeaway for this video, if I can make it sense, is make it clear, is go be in spaces that you want to be in with people you want to be in. Now, I don't mean rappers and ball players in the games. I don't mean that, right? Because you're gonna end up being a ticket holder at the daggone game, right? But the associations, like, and I was in Austin, we had a friend, there were always happy hours, different happy hours. So we saw this accountant's happy hour. We go in there, we're talking to people. It took about 15 minutes for somebody to say, where do y'all work? We're like, we ain't accountants. We're salespeople. We just saw y'all happy hour and came in, crashed it. And so what happens is you have to get into these environments because people get very, like, the 5 people around them look like them. This is why every time I'd be at banquets and dinners with friends and I would talk about, people out here struggling on 40, 50K, they'd be like, who lives on that? And you'd be like, teachers, workers, the average people. It didn't even cross their mind that people were making less than them and choosing to stay in Austin. That didn't make sense to them because the math didn't make sense. And this is a group of white girls, Asian, black, 2 mulatto guys, all in tech. And it just like this is why you get the blindness. Well, who would do that? There must be good guys out there, because there must be people do this and do that. And you'd be like, that's your blinders, because this is the group of people you always interact with. All right? Damn, don't do it. Don't say it. I used to think women with fathers were better than ones without. They can be just as bad, if not worse. Yeah. If it's a soft dad, it's an inactive dad. Again, it all matters on the quality of parents. It all matters on the quality of parents and what the parents are doing. And people can see it. People can see it. So look, the goal of all this is saying, it's going to go back to what I be telling y'all most times I attend. Conferences, events with like-minded people so that you can get in the rooms with people that can help you get where you're trying to go. That's going to be your easiest bet. That's going to be your best bet when job opportunities arise. We got to figure out how to, we're updating our ebooks and different things. So we have 2 stuff we're releasing, but we have about 19 companies that do tech temporary hires. And I got to somehow add it to the ebook, or we got to update stuff. And I'm going to try to get it in there for those who have purchased the 40 top certificates to get. We're going to probably got to update that or just add it to the Gumroad account, because we've worked with several people this past, 2 years, and all these different companies that basically are recruiting arms. They can get you in the door in some of this, entry level stuff, 60, 90 day work, 120K work, but it gets your foot in the door. And so that's why we've been trying to put it together and get it into the books. But at the end of the day, my goal is always going to be telling y'all, what's the boot camp you can go to? What's the shortcut? What's the training you can pay for? This is why information was so big in 2019 to 2022, because so many people are not exposed. They only know the type of 5 people they're around. I tell you, every time I moved, I'd find new careers, new jobs I never heard of. And I'd be like, I've never heard of this job. Where does this come from? And it would come from, honestly, just exposure, right? Or just moving to new places. And so you have people who are living in states and towns and kind of, to me, in my opinion, are like wasting away their life because they don't know the opportunities around them. And secondly, they just need to choose, right? How do you go to community college? I ended up talking to one of the guys on the phone here, and he was saying, Erica, I want to go for this thing, but I have this bill I owe at this old university. And I'm like, well, how much is it? He's like, $3,000. I'm like, you're letting $3,000 stop you from finishing this certificate to go in this new career path. Now, I'm not saying 3,000 ain't no money, but I would either Uber every weekend or I'd take a second job just to pay that lump sum amount off so I can go and finish my trade that I wanted. You have to make a sacrifice somewhere, you may not believe in Dr. Dick's going to school, but you can't believe you're going to go with a high school diploma and no certifications and make $150,000 a year. unless you are doing a job that people absolutely hate. You're shoveling shit in a ditch or something. Just being honest with you, you're doing insurance adjusting claims, climbing on roofs, right? You're not going to get 150K in this society doing things without any type of training, just none. Even in these social media spaces, that y'all don't believe it, there's a lot of people paying for coaching and training and templates and platforms. A lot of it. I'm talking about big money every year, spending $3,000 a month between marketing and getting in these different groups. Right. And you're like $3,000 a month. Who has that? People with credit cards. That's the average. A lot of these programs is 3 to 5K. So I'm not going to be on here too incredibly long. I have to help in the kitchen cook some food. So anyways, you guys, this is your girl, Erica, Classic on Blog. Let's pray for the snowmageddon to get out of here. We've been on day 987 of snow. I'm tired of it. I know y'all tired of it. And we ready to rock. All right, you guys, this is your girl, Erica. You guys have a great day. Make some friends, go outside, touch the snow.
Whether you're launching a business or leveling up your personal finances, Williams Accounting and Tax Services has you covered. From book cleanup and tax prep to strategic advisory, business setup, and our empowering tax academy, we're a full-service accounting firm. I'm Brandy Williams, an IRS enrolled agent with over 20 years experience. Visit us at williamsacttax.com. We look forward to working with you.